by John Cates in the mid-2000s and reincorporated into the FB&MA curriculum through the real-time class, which I now teach. And so if you're interested in this device and you are an SAIC student, you can take real-time to learn it in the fall. There are a couple of spots still open. So when we look at analog video, we are looking at raw voltage being interpreted by a cathode ray tube as video signal. So I have on top of this monitor an oscilloscope that will be showing us the raw voltage of the device. And I'm going to walk through some of the modules in the system that let us build some cool visuals. I'll demo them, present a signal, and then at the end I'll kind of turn the volume up and I'll perform. So the brain behind, or the most important output module for the Sandin Image Processor is the color encoder. The color encoder takes whatever you send into its red, green, and blue input, and it converts that into composite video. And we are going to upscale that composite video into HDMI, so we see it up here. And side note, our color encoder broke a couple of years ago, so huge shout out to Sean Hollowell, who built the one that is functioning in our system right now. So the first module that I'll talk about is the oscillator module, which is very straightforward. The oscillator module creates oscillations. We've seen these in several videos that we saw today. And so the oscillator module creates sine waves, triangle waves, or sawtooth waves. So you can see the raw waveform represented right here in the oscilloscope. This is a sawtooth wave. You can see the soft edge and the hard edge that's up there on screen. And I have full control over the frequency of this waveform. And because analog audio and analog video are the exact same materiality, we can sonify the video that we're seeing, and I've got a sound mixer here, so if I turn that up, we will be able to hear this sound. And when I shift it, we will hear that shift. So the oscillator allows you to dive through frequencies with a chorus knob that jumps by 10,000 hertz and a fine adjust knob that explores the space in between. And so you can spend hours exploring this signal to get really cool combinations, and artists like Barbara Sykes did that to make a lot of amazing videos. But what I think of as the heart of the image processor is the adder multiplier module. The adder multiplier combines signals into an A and B channel. It enables really intricate processes like keying. You can pan back and forth between A and B, and we'll be doing that later with an oscillator turned into a control voltage. But we can create complex waveforms by combining oscillations in one adder multiplier. So I can turn up another oscillation. You'll notice the waveform looks much more interesting. We're seeing more modulation of the visuals. It sounds a little bit more interesting. And I'll turn that up even more. And I'll bring a signal up for green. And I'll tip these so they reach verticality to complement those horizontal lines. There are ways of synchronizing the oscillations, and I like to kind of ride the drift with this instability, so I'll leave it just like that. And I'll bring up another signal for green. And I'll bring up a signal for blue. So these are three discrete signals going into the color encoder. Red, green, and blue, we're combining oscillations in both of them, but I've wired the adder multipliers so that the output of every one is going into the other one. They're kind of daisy-chained together. So I can turn up the red signal in green, for example, and red and green will combine to create some yellow. I can turn that up in blue. Red, green, and blue will combine to create white. And now we can explore this signal endlessly and look at really interesting combinations. And I've also rigged these to create sort of system feedback. So if I turn red up, the signal that's coming out of the blue adder multiplier, this is going to become a little bit loud. It's going to turn black and white, and it'll be a little noisy. to leave these oscillators running, but I'm going to temporarily turn them down. And so the whole point of the Sandin Image Processor, of course, is to process video, process images. And so I have two live cameras set up on this device. One is facing the crowd, the other is facing a television that I'll use to create optical feedback. And so I'll turn up our signal. And if we can have the house lights turned on so we can see the audience. So this is a very lo-fi, error-ridden video camera. It has this interesting built-in glitch where the low-level lighting causes it to kind of drip, which is amazing. But some of you can see yourselves on screen. And so we can mix in those oscillations I was generating to just add them to this signal, which looks kind of interesting. And I can also mix this signal in with the signal that's pointing at the monitor to enter a kind of feedback vortex. So this, maybe I'll turn the crowd shot down and turn up the optical feedback. Up. Here it is. Cool. So this will let us blend two different images together to get some really cool visuals going. And the point of the Sandin Image Processor, of course, is to process images. So far, we've just kind of added them together. And so I'm going to step through 3 different modules that the video cameras are being sent through, and I'll talk about what they do. And this is a historic device. It was made a long time ago, so they don't have the perfect fidelity that they would have had in the 1960s and 70s, but you'll still see how it breaks apart the image. And I'll balance out these colors. So I'm going to unhatch red and step through the image processing modules. And I'll actually turn down green and blue so we just see the red signal. So this is the function generator. And the function generator breaks video into 3 regions of light, medium, and dark, and it allows you to control those 3 regions and invert them, creating a bit of a solarization effect. We're going to go from the function generator into the differentiator. And the differentiator looks for edges, it looks for rates of change in video, and it accentuates those edges. Things are already really broken up. And from the differentiator, let me make sure I grab the right cable. We're going to go into my favorite module, the amplitude classifier. And the amplitude classifier breaks a video into 8 different regions that you have discrete control over. So there are 8 knobs. You can turn that region up and down. I can input to that region, and I can also pull that region from the amplitude classifier to mix it into other signals. So there's a lot going on here. With the amplitude classifier, you can also automate shifts by converting the oscillator module into a control voltage, and this will get some really awesome, really cool psychedelic effects going very easily. So I'm going to grab this cable, take it back from the amplitude classifier, bring it to our master adder multiplier. And here's that red processed video we just saw. Here's green. And here's blue. So this has totally broken up the image at this point. And I now have a massive series of knobs and cables to combine and mix in different ways. Let's take a look at what the feedback looks like fully processed. Cool, so we have a super interesting signal path here. I'm going to turn the audio up a little bit, and I'm going to cycle through some interesting moments and have a little bit of a performative ending.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. I'm gonna bring everyone.